everybody, Diana here at Sewing Common. It's finally here, our January live event, the first live event of the year. In fact, it is technically our week 4 project intro and Q&A, because today we get to talk together. I'm so excited about that. Now, first of all, I need you all to do something for me. While you're coming into the chat, please type in the comments, let us know who you are, and let us know where you're from, because I love knowing where folks view from, because I get shocked all the time, like where people come from and view videos and events and stuff. So I love hearing from all of you, and it's so exciting to have you all here today. So like I said, it's week 4. We've got a lot to do today. I'm going to be taking your questions a little bit later in the event, because the first thing we're going to do today is kind of a month in review. Hello, Sue. How are you? It's so good that you're here. I'm so excited. So thank you so much for joining in today. Alrighty. So let me talk to you all for just a second about a favor that I need from all of you. Sue is from Indiana. Hi, Sue. You're just the next state over for me. In fact, I am 16 miles from the Indiana border here in Illinois. So we are probably not horribly far apart from one another. You know what that means? There could be a meetup sometime in the future, right? That's always something that I look forward to, getting to meet folks in person. So, but now let's get back to this. I have a favor that I want to ask you all, and that is on the YouTube page. In fact, no, I don't think I can get to it. On the YouTube page, across the top there, you see home, playlist, videos, shorts, that kind of thing. You see one that says community, right? There's a little tab there that says community. And in that tab, I post a lot of information there. I post updates there that I don't do videos for, and I post polls there, asking you a question and needing a response. Some of them are just, silly, goofy, so we can have fun. Like, how many miles of thread is on an industry grade bobbin for a machine that actually creates fabric? What do you think? That's our test out one today here live. So if you want to put out a guess for how many miles of thread is on an industry standard bobbin for the machines that actually weave our fabric, post in the comments, because I would love to hear what you thought. Because when I heard it, just so happens this morning, I'm listening to this program while I'm working, and they literally showed this great video on how fabric gets made. And when they gave the number of how many miles of thread are on this bobbin, I literally almost fell over. I couldn't believe it. So type that in if you want to give a guess for that. Now, so in that community forum, you're going to find polls as well. And there is one in there right now. And it is, the question is simple. What is the largest hoop that you can use on your embroidery machine? And there's like 4 or 5 different answers that you can choose from. Those answers really help guide me when I'm creating our blocks of the month and other projects. I like to be able to do things for folks with 4x4 hoops, but I don't always know if that's necessary, because a lot of our machines today come automatically with a 5x7. So I'm just trying to get an idea, because if a lot of you have bigger hoops, then I will size blocks so that they can also be done in bigger hoops as well. Okay, so if you would go to that community forum tab and tick that and let me know, do that little vote, I would appreciate it so very much. So hello, Karen. Karen, my good friend from the UK. It's so good to see you. I have not heard from Karen in a long time. And Karen, you did poll earlier today. Thank you, Karen, so much. I don't know who's answering. All I see are the numbers, but thank you all so much, because it really is truly very helpful, so that I can do things that are geared more for what you all want Robbie, hi. My good friend Robbie is with us today. So glad to see you, dear friend. So the community forums tab, that's all we're going to say about that. Oh, and here's our question again for the day. So these are some of the like silly polls you'll see in there sometimes. How many miles of thread does an industrial grade bobbin have for the machines that weave our fabric? I think you're going to be a little surprised at the number. So take a guess in the comments because I'd love to hear from you all. So that is something I wanted to ask you all today to do. And one more quick favor. I know a lot of you have subscribed already. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, truly. But could you please set your notification bell? Because I've gotten a couple of requests or questions about why folks aren't getting their notifications when new stuff is posted. And it's probably because that notification bell. I wish that YouTube would make it so when you click subscribe, that automatically pops up and you need to check it or something. I think it would be easier than trying to always remind folks, but that's the way it is for now, right? So just go in there and click that notification bell so you know when I add new things in the community forum, which is kind of like blog posts, kind of an idea, and polls, pictures, all that kind of cool stuff, or full videos or shorts videos. And thank you all so much for your support. They're getting such great reviews. I'm really kind of like wowed by it all. So thank you all. Now, before we go on with the rest of the event today with the Q&A and all, let me kind of tell you how I've got it broken down. The first thing we're going to do is do our month in review. We'll review the block quickly, the quilting quickly. I'll show you the fabrics I used. I'll show you the final project, and I'll show you where you can get all of that. And then we will move on to the Q&A, and I have some questions here that were sent in already, but get ready to start typing in your questions. I love answering those for you. They don't have to be just about this month's block or anything. They can be anything machine embroidery related, right? And then I'm going to introduce you all to February's block of the month. Towards the end, I've got a sample. It's sitting right over here. I'm very excited to show it to you because remember, I told you January we've been doing we did a very simple block, right? Well, in February, now that you are all pros at this, and if you do the project, you will truly be a pro at doing blocks on your embroidery machine because in February, we're kicking it up a notch. I can't wait to show you. And then at the very end, remember, we have a giveaway today for that Grow Where You Are Planted panel so that you can get started playing around with some quilting of your own. Alrighty. So I'm going to, again, welcome everybody that's coming in. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to share my screen with you all, and I'm going to flip over to my camera. There we go. This is our block of the month. This was called Game Board. That's what I couldn't remember my name of my own block. Game Board. And I bet you can see why, right? Because like this would be the center of your board. This would be your little track that goes around where you would like move your little pieces. And I'm just going to put this out there. If somebody sees today's final project and they actually come up with a game that can be played on it, please let me know. Send that information in and I'll share it with everybody because I think you could, or show it to your grandkids or your kids. If you have little kids, I bet you they would come up with a game that could be played on this quilt. So, because our quilts aren't just for snuggling, right? Some of them we use for other things. So this is Game Board. And like I said, we started out with the very basic block this month, the half square triangle. So let's move the whole block over. So the whole block and the whole project is made with these two blocks right here. The 5-inch finished half square triangle and the 2.5 square finished half square triangle. And when we're piecing in the hoop, just a reminder that we're always talking about block finish sizes because the seam allowance is built right into the digital pattern and we don't have to worry about that. Isn't that awesome? You don't need that 1/4 inch foot for your sewing machine. You don't have to worry about adding in your seam allowances. It's all built in for us. So 5-inch finish and 2.5-inch finish. And like I said, you will truly be a pro by the end of the month. Can you believe we're already through January 2023? I mean, seriously, it's gone really, really fast. So those were our blocks, which created our overall game board block. Now, if you followed throughout the month, you might have seen where we talked about stabilizers, and did those natural stabilizers with the muslin. That worked really beautifully. You can check out those videos too. Now, if you're a little concerned about fabrics, don't be. We're going to talk about fabric real quick. These are the 3 fabrics that I chose for my finished project. Let me show them to you. Now, I am not wild personally about solid black and white fabric. They don't have any real life to them, in my opinion. But a couple years ago, when Tula Pink did her only black and white collection, she did a black and white that is like a white on white and a black on black. So see those cute designs in there? And so I bought those 2 fabrics by the bolt. So those are always my black and white. I don't care if my other fabrics don't have birds and stars and hearts and stuff in them. I still use them. It still adds kind of a texture almost, or a life to the fabric. So that's what I used for 2 of my fabrics, that black and white. And then I found this really cute little novelty print with all this game board and the chess pieces, because I have a good friend who's a chess player, and I was making him a big quilted zippy bag for all of his chess pieces. And so that works perfect for this month's final project. And let me just flip back to the full screen because you can see our full project right here. And it's called Gameplay. So you can you see how easy it is? Let me actually grab it because I know it's a little far away, but it's too big. Now, I will tell you why it's not quilted in a second, and you'll probably boo-hoo for me. Here it is. And all it is, can you tell? I told you we would keep this month's project simple as well, and we did. We did 4 blocks, and depending on how you rotate them, you got the border all the way around. And you see how that black fabric just kind of adds some oomph to that whole piece? I really love how that turned out. Now, I know you're wondering why it isn't quilted yet, and I will tell you, it's because my machine broke. In fact, it broke to the point where I have to take it in to the shop, and it may be there a month. So I'm going to be going to storage and getting my old baby lock out, my Flourish 2, which is a great machine. So I know it will be able to do what I need it to do, while this one is going to be in machine shop getting work done. Boo-hoo. I'm so sad. Okay, so that is this month's project, but we're not quite done with the review yet. Let's go back under the camera. Those were the fabrics. If you have trouble with fabrics, like remembering to flip them to the right side and the wrong side and that, why don't you try some true batik fabrics? Batiks are great, folks, because they are the same fabric on the front and on the back. Now, there are some quote batiks out there nowadays where they definitely look different on the back. That's because those are printed. They're not a true batik. They're kind of I would call them a faux batik. They're still beautiful, but they won't give you that same back and front. So make sure if you're going to choose a batik for this, that you choose one that is truly a true batik, so it's the same on the back and the front. Okay, that way you just lay that piece of fabric down there and it doesn't matter if it's right side up, wrong side down, because it is always the same, which I love that. Now, the one other part of the review is our design. right? Our quilting design. I did this little edge to edge design for us. And you've probably already seen this little video I did, the little short video on how I try to pick thread to go with my fabrics. Now, I didn't do this one to go with the black and white, but I did it to go with actually this fabric right here, this bluish color. So I always do one that kind of matches, a variegated, and a dark one. But that is your let's play a game edge to edge design, which I created. Now let me take you to show you where you can get all of these in case you're just joining in with us today. So right here, sewincommon.com, www.sewincommon.com. That's my website. So usually there's a different banner here that says Sew in Common, but I put that up there for folks to remind them that today we were having our live event. So if you just scroll down on this very front page, you could get to it through the shop, but it's just right here. So here is your project sheet. It's completely free. Sometimes projects will cost a couple of dollars, but this month is so easy. I was not going to charge you for like a half a sheet worth of instruction, right? That would be, I just think that would be ridiculous on my part. So you can grab your block of the month project sheet right now. It's out there. It's ready. You have a $2 investment for your edge to edge design if you want to use the Let's Play a Game design. And I will remind you that this design stays at $2 through the 31st of January. Starting on the 1st of February, it goes up to a regular $5 charge. So if you're wanting to get it for your project, go ahead and get it while you can save a few bucks. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but $3 is a nice cup of coffee some places, right? So, and if you know me, I'm always about my coffee. So you can grab that. And then here is the big design set. This has your block patterns. They're in there for all the popular machine formats, all of your written instructions, your templates, everything. So these first three that you see right here are all the pieces that you need to make the January project. If you have any concerns or comments or problems, anything like that, just let me know, right? That's not a problem at all. In fact, if you need to let me know, if you want to contact me, let me see where it is here. Got so many of these little banners now on here. You can contact me at Diana@sewincommon.com. You can leave a comment on the videos, whatever you like to do. I check my comments on my videos probably twice a day. And I check my email a couple times a day as well. And so I will always try to get back with you within that 24-hour time period if I absolutely can. All righty. So that is the project and block of the month. What do you guys think? Let me know over in the chat. I'd love to hear from you about what you think about the project of the month. Have you been making the block? I know there was a couple of gals who wanted to come today who said that they were going to try and make it this week. So that's great. And remember, those things will be up there for you throughout 2023. After 2023, the blocks of the month and all for this year may go off for a while and be repackaged into other projects and stuff. The edge to edge designs will always be out there, but remember, you can save a little bit by getting your copy by the end of the month. So I'd love to hear from you. Let us know over in the chat if you've started your block or not. Okay, let me think here. Is there anything else I want to say before we get to some Q&A? I'm going to download and get started today. Oh, that's great, Robbie. That's great. You just let me know, my friend, if you have any concerns, problems at all, and I will be happy to help you. You know that for sure. And that goes for everybody. I am always here for you guys. So just let me know if you need that help for sure. All right, folks, I think that is our month in review. Nothing else I need to say about that. But if you have questions about it, of course, you can answer them because now we get to start the Q&A. I can't wait. So start typing in questions. Let me know what questions you have. I have a few questions that folks sent me that didn't want to be named, and that's always fine. If you have a question and you don't want me to say your name out loud, I understand that. There can be lots of reasons for that, and there's no judgment, and I don't question it. Send them to me. Just let me know. Please don't say my name, and I'll just put your question out there. And I have a few of those. So while you're typing in questions, I am going to go over and I'll bring up the first one that I got. One of our community members wanted to know if she could quilt this month's project, this one, gameplay, with custom quilting rather than edge-to-edge quilting. And you know that custom quilting is where we put different designs in the different areas of our quilt. So we might have one for the border, we might have one for the darker part, one for the print part, all that kind of stuff. And the answer to the question is yes, absolutely you can. Now, I did not create custom designs, but if you all have software that allows you to create your own custom quilting, or you have other like block designs and stuff that you want to use, by all means, use them. You are in charge of your quilt and your art and your process. So you do whatever you want. And if you have concerns or questions or you want bad ideas off of me, please let me know. I'm happy to do that. And trust me, I don't judge, because it is your art form. And I think everything that folks does is gorgeous. You see it as beautiful, then it's beautiful. So the answer there is absolutely you can do custom quilting with no problem at all. So let's see, let me go back into our comments. Okay, we don't have any questions coming in yet. I'd love to hear from you guys. Please don't be shy. I know, Sue, I'm just getting to know you, dear, and I can't wait to get to know you more. But the other ladies that have commented so far, I've known them for a few years now, and I know you're all lovely people, and I know no one's here judging or anything. So please ask your questions while we have the Q&A for you to do that. Let's go back in and let me grab the next question. I'll take that one down. Let's put this one up. Oh, this is a great question, and it's an honest question, because choosing needles can be confusing sometimes, because we're always told a lot of times with embroidery to use a light ball point, because a lot of times with embroidery we're working on knit fabric or stretchier fabrics or faux leather. Did you all know that faux leather stretches? It has a wicked stretch to it, as they would say. And so I learned that with faux leather, instead of using a sharp needle, which I would kind of drift towards, you use a light ballpoint needle. So this is a great question. And the needle I use is a 7511 sharp. You could use an 8012 sharp. I wouldn't go up to a 9014. I think that's way too big. A 7010 might be just fine. A 65-9 is going to be too small because that is more for lettering and micro lettering. So a 7511 sharp, 7511, 8012 sharp. That sharp idea is the important one, because that's going to make a really clean hole in and out of your fabric instead of like pushing your fabric like a light ball point. And for just a tip here, when you're working with woven fabrics, your sharp point needles work really super well. So that's that one, 7511 sharp. Let's come back in here. I don't know if we're getting questions or not. Folks, if you're just coming in, please introduce yourself. Let us know where you are from. Okay, I'm just checking over here. Great. Alrighty. So let's go on to our next question. Oh, this is also a great question. somebody who, this person actually wasn't doing the block of the month, but she had this question. And because we're all about quilting, I thought it was a great question to ask or to share with everybody today. What part of the quilt do I start with when I'm doing my quilting on my embroidery machine? So I've done all my piecing. I've made my quilt sandwich. I've picked my quilting design. I'm at my machine. I'm hooped up. I'm ready to go. What part of the quilt do I start on? And I always recommend as close to the middle as you can. You might end up with an odd number of rows to your quilting, so it's easy to pick the middle. If you have an even number of rows, just whatever kind of in the middle looks like to you, right? And that is because as we stitch, everything, even with the best products, everything kind of presses outwards a little bit. And so by starting in the center, you're going to get less to no puckering when you do your quilting, no fabric bubbles and that kind of thing. So somewhere in the middle. Now, I'm answering these questions, y'all, but if you have answers, if you have ideas and thoughts as well to what you do with these particular questions, let us know that in the comments too, because although I've been doing this for a long time, I learn from you guys too, because this industry changes a lot. People try new things and they're a little shy to say something, but they know it works for them. Just put it out there because we can learn from each other for sure. I think we might have a comment. We're going to sew all the blocks together month to make one quilt. Oh, Sue. All right, let's show Sue's question. Sue, this is an awesome question. Are we going to sew all the blocks together month to make one quilt? That's an excellent question, Sue. So each month, that block is going to be part of an overall project. It could be a whole quilt project. But so this month we had one block. So we have one block in that project. In February, you're going to have the block that I'm going to introduce to you and this block in the February project. Okay. Now, it might not be this whole piece here. It might be just that I use half square triangles in the February one along with the February block. And we'll build each month. So each month we'll add the previous month's blocks into the month's project. And some of those are going to be throw-sized quilts, I'll tell you right now. But by the time we get to the end of the year and we have all of our blocks, yes, Sue, to answer your question, we are going to put all of those blocks together and we're going to do it on a Zoom together to talk about layout and stuff. You can give your ideas. I'm going to have a layout for you, but you all can like talk about ideas and things like that. We'll have a big get together on Zoom at the end of the year and we'll work on that together for sure, because that's kind of the whole idea of a sew along throughout the year, right? But I don't like giving us just one block to do. I like us to have little projects throughout the year as well. But you don't have to do those projects if you don't want to. Some of them you might want to do, some of them you might not want to do, but we sure will. So you're very welcome, Sue. Thank you for that question. It was a great question. Love that. So keep those questions coming, folks. Let me get down here again. I think we have one or two more. Oh, here's one. How do I clean my quilts? What do you guys think? You let us know in the chat. How do you all clean your quilts? So because I've been quilting for so long, back when quilts were really pretty delicate and all done by hand, we always hand washed them and hung them on the line in the backyard to dry. But my quilts today, I wash them with a very low suds type of laundry detergent or something for babies on a cool setting, a cool to a medium setting. I don't use hot water on them. And then in the summertime, I still dry them outside. But if I'm going to put them in the dryer, I always put them on a low to medium setting. They take a little while to dry that way, but I would rather them dry that way. If you dry them on hot, remember, heat is really not the friend of fabric and stabilizer. That's what makes everything go like this and scrunch up and do kinds of crazy stuff. So letting it go for a longer period of time on a low or medium heat will certainly help you with that. So that's how I clean my quilts, but I'd like to know how you all clean your quilts. I've never taken them to the dry cleaner. I don't know what the chemicals they use would do to those quilts over time. Like, I know none of my older quilts or my grandmother's quilts, I'd never do that. The modern day ones, I don't know. But if you've taken one to the dry cleaners, let us know that as well. I'd love to hear from you on that. Alrighty. Well, folks, do we not have any more questions? This is your time to ask. And I think I've answered the ones. I got a bunch of them, but I kind of put them all in together in one piece so that, because they went together. All right. Well, you can keep asking. I think let me just double check. I think that's all the questions I pre-prepared. Yep, it is. That's okay. If you don't have any more questions, you don't feel like you have to ask them for sure. Because remember, we'll do this every month. The fourth week we'll always have a live. And one of the little polls in the community section on the YouTube page this week is going to be about what time of day works best for you to have a live event Monday through Friday, because I'd like to start bringing you some more of those too. I know sometimes it's easier for folks to come in the evening. So that's going to be a poll coming up too. So please look for those. All right. Is everybody ready to meet February's block of the month? Now, this video and all the information for it and all of that will be out next Sunday, right? Just because it's going to be the first weekend of the month already. I can't believe it. So the February block of the month is the crossover star. Some of you might know this from traditional quilting. Some of you might have never done a crossover star. But remember, I told you in February, we're kicking it up a notch because the crossover star is more than one particular block. Just like this month was just the half square triangle. Well, we've got more coming in February. This is our crossover star. Gosh, I can't, it's so big. This one is a 15 by 15 inch block. And so, those jumbo blocks are so popular. But you're going to get it in a couple of sizes. Okay. So if you don't want to do the 15 by 15, you can do it a little smaller. Your blocks will fit in a 5 by 7 hoop. I don't know if I'll be able to get this one in a 4 by 4. I'm going to try, but I know it will be in a 5 by 7. And this is the crossover star. And this is how this one is created. Half square triangle. You all know how to do that right now because of this month. We're going to do the diamond in a square, or what I call a square on point in a square. Remember, blocks can have lots of names. So that's a new block that we're going to do. And we're also going to do another new block that is part of this pattern, which is called the modified half square triangle. And can you tell what the difference is? You've got half of it in one fabric. This half is in two fabrics. Half of it matches your other, so it looks like there's a crossover there. So this is kind of like a part of a quarter square triangle and a half square triangle. So it's a modified half square triangle. That's what we call that. So you're going to be getting all of the digital designs, the instructions, and everything to make the crossover star block. What do you guys think about this one? I'd love to hear from you about this. I'd love to hear what you think of this block. And I'll be honest, this block may end up being in a throw quilt for you this month. I haven't quite decided on the final project yet. But these are actually going to be the fabrics that I'm going to use for my final project. I thought I'd go ahead and show those to you. This one, this is the fabric I used when I was working on the quilting for this month. So I'm going to use this one, and either this green or the blue. Now the blue just blends beautifully, but that green kind of gives it some pizzazz, I think. So I'm guessing you're going to see the green with this, but you'll have to wait and see what I choose. What do you guys think? Should I use the green or the blue, just let me know. I'd love to hear that. So that is February's block, the crossover star. Okay, and it's crossover because of the way these modified half square triangles are in there. They look like they're crossed over one another. So I think it's really a beautiful, it's always been one of my favorite blocks in quilting. It's not going to be difficult to make, and I think you're really going to love it. So let's flip back over to our main screen now and go back here. We have a comment. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Sue. See, I told you we're going to kick it up a notch because, you know, I know that January was very simple, but we have a lot of folks who've never done quilting with their embroidery machine, piecing and the quilting and all. So I wanted us to start out the year with something that everybody can handle. And now that everybody knows that process, you will all be able to do this with no problem at all. In fact, in the first video, which will be next Sunday for this new block, we'll literally stitch out one of each of those blocks so that you see how they're done. I don't know if I'll redo the half square triangle, but the other two for sure we'll stitch out in the video so that you see that, okay? Great. Alrighty, so that is February's block, and the last thing I have, folks, is the giveaway to do. So we're moving along here at a pretty good clip, that's fine. That's great. I know it's Sunday, so you know I know you all have stuff to do. So remember, the giveaway was to comment on one of a couple of videos that I put out. To get this particular panel. It says grow where you're planted. Isn't that cute? I love it. I got one for myself too. I'm going to do some quilting on this. I think I'm just going to edge it and do it as a wall hanging. I'll do a video on that and put it out there so you guys can get some inspiration, because I'm going to tell you that it is a 36 by 42 inch panel. You can purchase these at Joann's Fabrics. That's right. That's where I got them. That's where I found them. Don't put down stuff from Joann's, because there are some really nice things out there. And this panel is really lovely. The fabric is a nice quality for a wall hanging panel. And I just love the saying, and I love the artwork on it. So if you don't win today, you might want to just grab one for yourself, or grab any panel for yourself to try your edge-to-edge quilting, or try this one. You could do some custom quilting on, because you could custom quilt in your flowers and then just split up the rest of your design area. So you could custom quilt this as well if you wanted to. And are you ready? So I went in, I picked all the names, I wrote them all down on slips. We tossed them in a bowl, and I had my husband just reach in and grab one for me. I never grab the winners. I don't want to be involved in that process. So it is kind of as transparent as it can be. So he reached in the bowl, and our winner of this giveaway is Rosemary Gray. Rosemary Gray. Rosemary, congratulations to you for winning this month's giveaway. You need to contact me, Rosemary, at my email address, Diana@sewuncommon.com, and I will try to reach out to you as well so we can get this sent out to you this week. If you didn't win this giveaway, folks, I do a giveaway each month on the last day of the month with the last week of the month when we do our live, something that can help you with your quilting. Might be another panel, might be some free designs, who knows. But so there will be one each month, and sometimes I give away stuff throughout the month as well, but for sure on the last week of the month. So congratulations to Rosemary Gray. So glad that you commented. I enjoyed your comments, and I know that you said you were going to start your thing this week. So good luck, and let me know if you need any help with that. Okay, folks, that is everything that I have planned. And since our Q&A portion was a little bit shorter than I thought, don't worry about that. Keep asking questions in the comments. I will get back to any questions that you ask in this particular video, because it's going to be up here now forever, and it'll be on the Facebook page forever. And folks, just let me be honest, completely honest with you. I appreciate you all so much. When I decided to leave my other career and do this full time, my husband just has been 100% behind me on this. And all of your support, your questions, and your friendship just mean the world to me. And so I will share with you a joke that my husband, trying to be supportive, he came up with a little knock knock joke. Now, Sue, you've heard this. Knock knock. Who's there? Who's there? So who? So Life Beautiful was so in common. Isn't that, I'm sorry, it's corny, right? But he came up with it, and I told you I would share it again sometime. But he's really supportive, and so are all of you. And I just can't thank you enough. Let's see, we've got a couple more comments. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, ladies. And if you like this live, if you like any of our videos, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, or you could subscribe over on the Facebook page, whatever you want, but subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget to click the bell for notifications. Please go take that poll on the community tab now while it's fresh in your mind, would you please? Because that's really going to help me with planning some of the blocks and things in the future. And as I tell you all every single time, and I mean it, you guys are artists in your own right, and I know you're out there making beautiful things and putting them in the world. So go sew life beautiful, ladies. Until next time, we'll see you next week. Bye for now. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.